As the 2023 general elections draw nearer and stakeholders prepare to take leadership roles in the Nigeria polity, Nigerians are saying that personal gain must not override national interest, especially looking at citizens that have stunted the country's socio-economic advancement. However, what makes democracy thrive in most cases is the zeal and interest put through to ensure that citizens enjoy the dividends of democracy. For those who have national interest, they work according to laid down democratic principles and dictate the constitution to deliver benefits of democracy to the citizenry. This is, however, against the focus of drivers of personal interest who only work to replenish their pockets. In Nigeria, for instance, in the last 24 years since the return of democracy, leaders of the country have been striving to sustain the ever-nascent democracy of the country, but have not succeeded due to some avoidable issues that emanate from their personal interest. Such interests as personal, ethnicity, and religion have undermined the reasons for democracy and have consequently caused underdevelopment, poverty, and even unwarranted nepotism in the country. For a country to make progress, however, its leaders must learn how to make sacrifices and follow or implement constitutional tenets in the bid to address its developmental challenges.
National interest should be the priority because for you to come out, you've seen a problem. And the problem have to do with the people. The problem is about the people, not about you. And the problem is what you are coming to solve. And if you actually want to solve problem, it means the interest of the people comes ahead of any other thing. And that is what you want to use as a pedestal to showcase yourself to the world.
To even push you into the office is to hold the tenets of democracy, which is the process that brought you in. And what is the definition of democracy? The government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Now, if it is so, I think if politics has to be what it should be, I think selflessness in service to the people is cardinal.
National interest should come first before individual, because anybody that is a politician is going out there to serve the public and not himself or his family. Because, like some people said, democracy is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And for you to go into politics, you are going to serve people through democracy. And for that means you are going to serve people and not yourself. But unfortunately, what we find in our society today is that some people have misconstrued that concept and they are now serving themselves and their family. And that is why our society is where it is today.
They also want politicians to put the interest of the people first, as they have been called to serve.
You are coming to serve the people. That is the essence of coming, to be a servant of the people. So whatever that will improve the welfare of the masses, that is what they should have in mind.
We need to adjust this current problem that we are encountering. We need national interest. For example, look at this Naira something now. People are dying because of this.
In whole, it is believed that when leaders and elected officials put the citizens first, submitting themselves to serving the electorate who voted them in office, the country will experience great transformation and development would spread to all sections of the country without any cry of marginalization.
National interest, personal interest. What and how can we promote national interest? Our respondent has given us one or two hints, but we want to hear from our guest. And our guest is no other person than Barrister Bayo Ayo. He is a human rights activist of his own nature. He is a community leader. But why I like him, his own appellation to me is that he's a man of timber and caliber. Barrister, you are welcome to this program.
Welcome
Thank you very
to the
much.
show.
Hi, thank you. So,
Meanwhile, you want to greet us?
I'm sure you want to ask me how I've survived.
In fact, because you are looking sharp and clean and smart, despite this stress.
Well, some of us have just decided to overlook the problems of Nigeria because I don't understand why you go into such things that people don't have cash, you don't have fuel, you don't have lights.
And there's heat.
Of course. So there's so much discomfort, and then the CBN is still saying it's going ahead. I don't understand. So just, you know that in my village they said that if something has gone beyond crying,
yes,
you will laugh about it. So it's always better
we laugh
about it and watch.
Before you go on, as a lawyer, the CBN, the government, the central bank, can you just one sentence analysis about it?
Well,
in respect of this Naira policy?
Well, it from the CBN end is also a charade, and it was not well implemented. It was not planned, therefore it could not have been properly implemented. And the CBN has alluded so much to the fact that they did not envisage the hardship and the reaction, which to me is such an embarrassment.
In a cash full, in a cashless
technologically literate society. You don't force people into
a policy,
into cashless policies like that.
Has not been.
You make them imbibe the policy. They are two different things. You can't force people to start spending. I mean, to start even before you do that, sir. You must also be sure that your infrastructural
on ground
capacity is top notch.
I don't know. I had an experience this week.
I'll give you my own
two hours, another 2 hours this week. I was somewhere, I made a transaction. The thing didn't go. Meanwhile, it's fuel, so they have already loaded the fuel inside the car.
I made a transaction 4 days after. I was still getting calls. I think that was not enough. I took a cab. There was no fuel, so I got a cab to go to where. I transferred the money to the young man. I went. Do you know, I came out 2 hours later. I met this guy outside the gates. He was waiting. He had not seen the
outside your own gate.
Yes, he had not seen the alert. He had gone, then he didn't see the alert, so he came back. And so he had been waiting there for close to 40 minutes, hoping that I will come out, and then he will let me know.
The cabman.
The cabman. Now I felt so much for him because I looked at the man hour
he has wasted.
The little fuel
he had
that brought him back to where I was.
He's a gentleman, no?
What if I had left the place before he came?
He's a gentleman.
So while we were pulling on that, fortunately the alert came. Now those are the things those are the kind of adverse and negative effects that this thing has. So before you subject people to such things, you need to first of all ensure that these things work properly. You go to banks now, banks are shutting down. I mean, please.
With a bad economy?
The banks are shutting down, and they are shutting down along with their ATMs.
Yes.
So please, where am I supposed to get the money from? Although the lighter part of it was, I didn't know 100,000 could be so much. Somebody went to collect 100,000 from the bank, so he was paid in 5 Naira notes. So he was carrying 2 bags. And I was like, said this is 100,000 Naira.
Meanwhile, our guest today is a politician, but I'm not sure he wants to use that money for politics. I just want to bring that in.
So you have people carrying
money around.
I think somebody was telling me again the other day that she went to the market. They gave her 50 Naira notes in there. So she made a purchase of about 12,000 Naira. So she brought out the 50 Naira. And the market women were looking at her. Was like, this was what I got from the bank. So I think that the government, the CBN, have shortchanged Nigerians once again. It is very unfair. It is devilish. To put people. The other day we saw videos of, I mean, particularly a woman who stripped naked in a bank.
Yes.
Yeah, some people say, oh, she's irresponsible. But I tell you, sir, that you'll be shocked. She said, I have not been able to feed my children.
A mother.
That is a mother.
As a mother.
So she's ready to do anything to feed her children.
Get her money.
And all you care, God knows how much she has in the bank.
It can be up to...
All she needs is to get to her ATM, collect the little she will, which you will charge her for. And so when you now talk about cashless thing, that which is another topic entirely. You know that if I send you 10,000 naira now, the alert that comes to you is not 10,000 naira.
Obviously now, it has already cut down.
So they've removed this, removed that, removed that, removed that. So you probably have 9,000 something.
Yes.
And so that poor woman that you sent the 10,000 naira to, you've already taken off close to 44% of that money.
What I do is I top up to people because I know.
How do you do that? How do you compensate such people? Those ones are under the radar of our... so please,
let us now. Of course, it's part of it. It's just the deal, personal interest, national interest of office holders. I like the closing remark of our correspondent that countries where national interest supersedes, you see development rapid. But countries where personal interest supersede, you see a snail's slow development or even lack of development.
Well, I've argued this issue before. And
sorry, sir, I want you to look at Nigeria now as a project because you are a project management
That's what
consultant.
I want to tell you, sir. The first thing we should look at is to define what we are. Are we citizens of this country? Because without a proper definition of being citizens, you cannot attain patriotism. And without patriotism, national interest is a mirage. So what we have is that we are not properly defined, we have not properly defined ourselves as citizens of Nigeria. Citizenry means you have access to certain things. So, I'm sorry, we'll go back to this Naira thing. So we have a CBN, I'm going to keep calling it CBN, because you have a CBN that decided to change the Naira. The Minister of Finance shouted,
I knew nothing about it.
I don't know anything about this thing. He said it's not her business. Bankers Committee said, but you did not consult us. Said it doesn't hold them any explanation. So, in his personal interest, he is trying to bring a policy of national interest without consideration.
You're a good teacher. See the foundation.
Without consideration to the effects that this will have, particularly as we have agreed on a larger illiteracy or illiterate community within the society. Because they are up there, they actually don't believe that people are suffering, as far as I'm concerned. They actually don't. Otherwise, before you do such a thing, you want to know. Somebody gave me another example of, she went to buy food somewhere in the Buka. She was going to pay 1,000 transfer. The woman said, no problem, but you pay 100 naira on the 1,000 naira transfer. Why? Because when she goes to mile 12, she's going to have to buy money, and that's the joke of, and the last 1 or 2 weeks, that was the black market rate of the naira to the naira. So, what kind of national interest are we talking about when you do not carry the people along with you? And so that comes, in various sectors, various segments of the society, including the politics. And remember, because we are not properly defined as citizens, we cannot claim to be patriotic Nigerians. And without the patriotism, we are deceiving ourselves about national interest.
Yes, but is it how we'll just allow this interest to now continue to rub short on us, allowing personal interest? No doubt, we lawyers have a duty too in terms of taking matters to court, but you see we are constrained with these issues of locus. I don't know how to break it down because this program is a leveler per se. So I try as much as possible to avoid technical words.
Legacy.
Locus, I guess that you don't have a right, to sue. Who are you? You are only one insignificant person amongst, but maybe the politicians and government officials are taking advantage of this. And you remember, just to write it on, the late Chief Gani Fawemi did all he could to ensure that this issue of local standard is removed from class actions.
Well, politicians are first and foremost Nigerians. They are human beings. They live amongst us. I think the major question is accountability. Even as commoners, in the sense of this discussion, we don't demand accountability from them.
That's where I'm going.
Majorly also because a lot of us don't even know our rights. Most people don't know that they can actually recall their representatives. Most people don't know that they can actually demand accountability from their representatives. Because the Nigerian citizenship has been so bastardized, the politicians have weaponized poverty. We have seen it as opportunity to be very close to a politician. Oh, once I'm close to a politician, I'm okay. So once I'm okay, like somebody joked that, why are you stressing yourself about Nigeria? Once you're okay, Nigeria is okay.
I'm laughing because, I remember his song. It's local, but I won't say it locally. I'll just translate it colloquially. That I'm full, seriously. I care less since the side of somebody is hungry.
So that is just the major problem we have in Nigeria.
Personal.
The system has taught us to take care of ourselves and not bother about the
generality.
Because in bothering about the general, okay, for instance, you mentioned lawyers, that we have a duty. Yes, we do. But, sir, between you and I, is it the lawyer that is yet to sort himself, that wants to... Somebody called me up this morning that, can he bring up a class action against a particular bank that he banks with because they've messed him up in the last 3 weeks. I said, why are you doing a class action? You can go on your own.
Sue your own, since you are an account holder.
You're an account holder. Said, that doesn't need to join. I said, what's the business of CBN? Sue your bank. Said, his problem now is the cost of lawyer. I said, do you know, you're obviously not aware that you can represent yourself in that matter. It's a simple matter, open and short. The bank has messed my business in the last 3 weeks. I am hereby claiming so. You don't need to witness now. You don't need...
You can even go to a small claims court.
You can go to a small claims court. I told him this morning, he was like, those are the kinds of advocacies we do not present to the public, so they do not know. And that's why politicians get away with
all these things.
So many things. But like I say, I believe strongly that the 2023 elections will change a lot of things. Mindsets will be changed. People are more aware now, whether you like it or not. People are asking questions. So what do we need to do? We need to take the answers to these questions down
to the politicians,
to the roots, so that politicians, when they now get to those places, the national interest becomes a subject matter. You are coming for a vote, we will give you the vote. But let us have a social contract. The social contract is simple. What are you going to do for us? I'm a politician. I'm going out to campaign for my candidate. Questions are asked. I answer questions. I was somewhere yesterday where I said to them, I can't promise you that. And the guy said, what do you mean you can't promise? It's going to be a government. I said, I cannot promise you. However, I will table
the matter.
Now, these guys, they actually were recording everything I was saying. And I like that. It's a social contract. Just in case my candidate wins, they can then present to you that, oh God, this is what you said.
True.
Now, now that you have gone there, and really I want us to open it a bit. Because the elections is less than a month now, some 3 or 4,
2 weeks.
2 weeks away. And I have not heard, despite the closeness and my interaction and my even being in the center of this thing, the level of interaction between candidates and the voters is not that much. What I know generally is that, yes, on the soapbox, they go fly around the major state capitals, but in the backyard, on the street corner, but it seems you are just going there.
We are doing that
because on behalf of your principal.
Yes.
Okay.
We are doing that because yes, the principal will not get anywhere.
Yeah.
So because I mean, take it or leave it.
Principal here, no be Oga Secondary School. Principal is the person they are working for.
So I also want a better society. So I believe in what my principal wants to do. So I'm going there to say to them, please vote for this person. Ask me questions. The ones I cannot answer, I'll let you know. Do you get it?
Has it been forthcoming?
We are getting feedback, sir.
And it's getting better.
You'll be shocked that more people are aware. The problem is they do not have access to show their awareness and grievances.
Okay.
And this is one of the things that I have been saying, that whatever the government that comes in into 2023, there must be opportunity for feedback. What we have lacked so far is feedback. Feedback from the citizenry. You have a state governor. Yes, you cannot hear the man from this corner street of, say, Abeokuta or Abulegba or somewhere. But you must have people who hear. There must be a pyramid, level. Who hears something from here, moves to you, gets to you,
and gets up for it to be implemented.
I had to advise some residents yesterday that, okay, you have this problem. Fortunately, the governor is coming to inaugurate a project. I will follow you. We will block the road. All we want is...
Did I remember to tell you, we were together running a Luther in school.
Well, I told them, I said, this thing, because what they did is, yes, they reconstructed the area, but they blocked the drainage. I said, we will break every drainage. They let them come and arrest all of us. They will ask us why we broke it, and we will show them. Because if we don't do these things, we will not get attention. So until citizens begin to take responsibility, because the government they won't know. So citizens will have to let them know.
Draw their attention.
It is when we now get to that point that it cascades.
Then they will now act.
They will now act. And that way, we're now changing the system.
Huh.